We're talking about the journey from consumer to enterprise search at Glean. And this is part of our series, Working AI. And I'm here with Sagar, who's a member of the Glean team. Can you go ahead and give a short introduction to yourself?
I'm Sagar. I'm a machine learning engineer at Glean. I work on problems around understanding user queries and personalizing search results. The goal of my job is pretty simple: deliver a seamless search experience.
Great, that's what we're here to talk about today. Work AI revolves around enterprise data and search. Can you compare for me consumer search to enterprise search?
So for understanding the differences between consumer search and enterprise search, it's actually informative to look at the common things between them. For consumer search, Google is a great example. The core innovation was in understanding the importance of backlinks and understanding that relevance goes beyond content signals. When building Glean, this was front and center for us too. But we had 3 additional challenges that we had to deal with. First one being personalization. You'll never go to Google and ask for your docs. But at Glean, this is a very common type of query. They will come and ask for OKRs. For answering this query correctly, we need to understand who the user is, what their team is, and the correct OKR items for that team. Personalization is very important to deliver relevant information. The second important challenge is understanding permissioning. For permissioning, you need to make sure that you always give information to the end user that they have access to. And finally, heterogeneity of the SaaS world. If you look at today's SaaS tools, they range from Slack, which is a live conversation with your teammates, to Jira, which is a great task management tool, to G Drive, which is a collaboration tool. Compared to that, all the web pages are pretty similar. So that's a big challenge.
That's a very interesting challenge in my mind. When you think about web pages, it is very homogeneous. And when you move over to enterprise applications, you end up having varieties of data models. Can you talk about how that informed Glean's search design?
One of the direct effects of this heterogeneity is that the vanilla BM25 algorithm, which is the backbone of traditional IR search, does not work. During a series of experiments that we ran, we found that different data sources have importance to different document parts and wide signal imbalances. To make this more concrete, Slack messages do not have doc titles. They are unusually short compared to other different document types. If you look at Confluence knowledge articles, they have a lot more importance to the document than to the comments on the doc. This is the exact opposite for Jira, where there's a livelier discussion on the comments rather than the document. What this meant for Glean was that over a series of live experiments, we had to rewrite the entire BM25 algorithm specifically for the enterprise. Digging a bit deeper, let's look at Slack versus Jira. Slack is a live conversation with your teammates. A large context of the conversation actually lies in the larger channel in which this conversation is happening. For example, a conversation happening in the all hands channel versus the engineering channel versus your team channel has different relevance and is important to different set of people. For Jira, it's a discussion on a specific issue. The larger context of the Jira is in the larger Jira epic. So to correctly model this heterogeneity, you have to come up with a common language in which you can compare all these different documents. This is a very hard problem, but also the crux to deliver great search experience.
It's very interesting. And you've talked a lot about this unification of a data model and really figuring out what is the purpose of each of these applications and how do we make sure that we're capturing the most relevant information when we're designing this data model. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about search. So search is hybridizing. Can you share a little bit about how that's changing the end user experience?
So hybrid search means a combination of keyword-based search and a semantic search model which understands the intent of the query. This has been a game changer for users to find more relevant information. So you can ask more complicated questions like, what is the status of my OKR items? To correctly answer this question, you need to understand the OKR items and the status of each one of them. At Glean, we have incorporated LLMs throughout our search stack. LLMs have helped us re-rank the search results on our search page. They have helped us better understand documents. Some of the largest changes in the recent months for us have been backed by LLMs.
For hybrid search to work, it requires an understanding of every company's language and the lingo in which they use internally. How does Glean learn this information?
Every enterprise has its own dialect. This dialect can vary from team to team. For example, POC can mean proof of concept for engineers, but point of contact for customer success. So how do we know which POC you are talking about? First, we look at the documents that you have recently visited, the document that you have access to, And if in these documents you are talking about POC as proof of concept, then that's the one we'll use. The second way we go about this is we look at the way you use our search product, the way you refine queries, the documents that you click on based on these queries that helps our models learn and fine-tune to your enterprise context. So this self-learning is actually pretty huge. We have seen 20% improvements in our top-line search quality metrics from the first search query to about 6 months down the road.
You're talking a little bit about some of the signals that Glean puts together to create a great search experience. And this is very closely related to our knowledge graph. Can you share a little bit more context on Glean's knowledge graph?
Glean's knowledge graph has 3 core pillars. First is people, second is activity, and finally the content. Most search queries are short and underspecified. That's because users have come to expect a lot from their search systems. On Glean, about 50% of queries are 1 to 3 terms long. For example, a user will come and query benefits. There are about 30,000 documents which match benefits. But the user is expecting that one canonical benefit stock, which in our case is our company handbook. Neither keyword-based search or lexical search can help you find that one document. Glean does this consistently right. That's because we leverage a knowledge graph, which understands the popularity of different documents and the expertise of their authors. The way we do this is via 3 ways. First, we understand the quality of content via backlinks. This is also the innovation that Google did. Second, we look at the popularity of documents via activity data. And finally, we understand the expertise of authors and the specific topics that they can talk on.
To close, what are your takeaways from building enterprise search at Glean?
So to build enterprise search, it comes down to 3 simple things: continuous experimentation and improvement. Just in the way we rewrote BM25 algorithm over a series of search experiments, we do the same with all parts of a search stack. We are continuously improving, incorporating latest technologies like LLMs. The second part is the knowledge graph. This is crucial for giving the most authoritative results to the end user. And finally, permissioning. Glean has to always ensure we respect the permissions and controls that are set up by enterprise. We can never show information to the end user that they do not have access to.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today, and it was great to delve into enterprise search.
Thank you.